Hi, I'm Dee, owner and creator behind Dee's Purdy Pieces, and this is my industrial sewing machine, Hank, otherwise known as the Cowboy CB6900 compound feed cylinder arm. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how Hank is going, how our relationship has evolved in the past 7 months, and how I have him set up and all the bits and pieces around me set up to best suit my needs when I'm making a bag. Okay, let's have a little mini tour. So, sorry, let me shift my seat out of the way. This is Hank. I have a very small sewing space, but I am fortunate enough to have my own room to work within, so that's always handy. I've decorated Hank. Thank you, Lauren, for my magnet. And Hank is nicknamed after the beast from X-Men because Hank is a beast. So I have added 2 magnets onto Hank. Well, 2 functional magnets onto Hank. I have one up the top here, which holds my snips and my lighter. And then I have another one down here, which holds my seam ripper, a little screwdriver when I'm inserting zipper ends and stuff like that, a needle, and a pin, just in case I have to hold anything in place. I could most probably do without having the little screwdriver here, but he's so teeny that I'm sure I would lose him if he was not attached to a magnet. So he's attached to a magnet. I have an overhead light on an articulated arm here that I've attached to my shelving unit. And I have another light at the back here to light up the workspace. I know I could go get a light that is actually designed for the machine, and I'm pretty sure they clip onto the back here to do the same thing. But I had that lamp handy. So yeah, it works. It works for me. I also have my clips to the right of me, and I have, let me see if I can just shuffle my head out of there, 2 shelving units here. These are the IKEA shelving units, the photo rails, I think they're called, and I think they're about $10, $10 each. And I have my threads and my feet that I really don't change out on there, makes it handy. My iPad, because I have to watch my YouTube videos. I like my YouTubers, or whatever TV show I'm currently binging. And I don't think you can see, so I might walk you around. Here is a little drawer that I hold my needles and my screwdrivers and my pliers in. I will own it. It took me about 2 months to realize that was there. I did not know that was there until about 2 months later. So there is a drawer there to keep stuff in. So I just made a little list of things I'd like to talk about with regards to this machine. I love this machine. It's brilliant. I used to, and still do for certain parts, work on a vintage Singer 201K with a knee lever control. That's important. And when I went from that machine to my industrial, it took me a couple of days to realize that I no longer needed to use my knee to cause power or speed on my machine, that I had a foot lever. So when I went from my knee lever control to a 1K, I was using my knee to power it. That's a bad idea in this one. When you're using a foot lever and you don't think about it, and then you hit the knee lever, you pull your foot up and it can mess with whatever you're working on. So that was just something that I learned, that I had to learn to fix in terms of the way I sew, which kind of like leads into a nice segue into muscle memory. When you're sewing, I have found that when I'm sewing, I've learnt to sew particular ways and compensate my particular ways to compensate for my machine and however it runs. So with my Singer, I couldn't do, it was more difficult to do top stitching, or I couldn't power through all the multiple different heights in the layers of the fabric, so I'd used to have to hand crank. And so my body learnt different ways to hold itself and hold the fabric in place for me to do my work. Same goes with the cylinder arm. When you're using a cylinder arm, you have to change the way you hold things. I was holding things, I'm now holding things a lot more with my left arm, so I've found that within the first week or so, my arm was sore from holding things a particular angle, but now it's just used to it. It is just how I now know how to use the machine. What's next on my list? So needle and thread. I use the smallest needle that I can use in this machine, which is 110/18, so a size 18 needle. I find that with that needle I can use a Tex 70/M40, and that gives me lovely top stitching and still allows me to use the same machine to do my linings in. I don't have to switch between this machine and my domestic to put a bad dealer, which is fantastic because I don't want to. I don't want to. So I use this machine to do 99% of bag work on. The other 1% would be if I'm doing appliques on a bag or a wallet, then I use my Singer machine because it has a smaller needle and I can do more finer work on it. You may have seen that I've done another video on the layers and the types of fabrics that this machine can handle. I stand by that. It's awesome for the fabrics that I use. So I use vinyl, glitter vinyl, I have used leather, I use cotton canvas, quilting cotton, and cotton poplin. My machine does not like cotton uninterfaced cotton poplin because it is so thin. It scrunches it up. Even with me playing around with the tensions, it squishes it up, so I just don't do it. But interface cotton for the lining, or actually even canvas, waterproof canvas, not a problem. It doesn't chew it, it doesn't damage it. It's perfectly fine to use on linings and on the external of bags. Next one is tension. You do have to play with the tension, much like any other machine. It's the different thicknesses of what you're working with. You're going to have to change your tension as you go along. This doesn't apply to if you're going between seams. So if you've got a seam and it's got 5 to 8, 6 layers on it versus 2 layers, you don't have to change it. I find that I didn't have to change the tension then, but definitely between working with layered vinyl and my lining, so my cotton, I will have to adjust the tension just a touch so that I don't get the accordion effect on my lining cotton, so it doesn't all scrunch together. And yeah, that's that one. Thread tails. Thread tails will lead into issues with the machine. So when I start sewing machine, I hold on to my thread tails and I make them actually slightly longer so that when I backstitch, I can actually just hold my tails, hold my work that I'm working on with this hand, stitch one forward, and then I lean over and I hit my reverse lever with my elbow. And that goes backwards, and then I let it go and I go forwards again. That's just how I've learned to do it. how my method of going reverse does it, because if you don't hold your tails, they can get chewed up into the bobbin case on the down stitch, and you don't want that. It's painful to undo. It's when it then stops moving. So if the needle no longer moves, or if it makes a noise, stop your machine, stop what you're doing, and find out what's gone wrong. Usually I found it's because something is chewed up in the bobbin case here, and I need to stop, open, clear out the bobbin case of all the little bitty threads and stuff, and then it continues on its merry way. It's not often that I've had to do that, mainly when I haven't held onto my tails tight enough or long enough. Usually I find about 4 stitches wax. So yeah. You may notice that I have a big bit of fabric here. Now I've had my machine for September, October, November, December, January, February, 6 months. And it is, I haven't refilled it. I haven't refilled the oil reservoir here, but it is a self-oiling machine. And I found that when I don't have this here, the oil actually comes down the needle bar or gets fed up through the bobbin case, and then it goes down my tails and leaks onto my foot pedal. That's annoying. I think that has to be like one of the biggest issues I have with this machine, is that it does circulate oil quite freely. Like, not as bad as when I first got it. When I first got it, it was a lot worse, but now it's just a little bit of oil. And I don't think that it's ever going to go away, because it is semi self-oiling, so it'll always be there. So I have a wad of fabric that when I finish for the night, I stick under my foot, and then I put the needle into, and it just all sits in there, and I don't have a fear of coming back the next day and having oil on my pedal and my foot slipping, because that would also be bad. I'm not quite sure what else to say. I really do enjoy this machine. I'm glad I got it. I'm glad that I had the funds to buy it, and it makes top stitching so much easier. Going around the arm, top stitching is a breeze. It does come with a flatbed attachment, and I do use it when I'm working on bags and installing zippers onto bags, and the bags that are slightly heavier. I have the table there, so it takes the weight and even distribution around the entire thing, so that when I'm installing the zipper, I don't get in with a completely wonky zipper. Otherwise, that is about the only time I use the flatbed attachment on this machine. I've been talking for so long, I'm not sure what I've missed or what else I need to cover. My list is at its end. So yeah, that's basically it. I could continue raving about this machine and its awesomeness for bag making. But yeah, I think that's about all I have. If there is anything in particular you want to know about my experiences with this machine in the past 6 months, please leave a comment, and I will try and get them all together. If I have multiple comments, I'll get them all together and do an updated video for you that addresses all those, or I'll just respond to your comment in the feed. That's fine too. Or if you have any other content you'd like to see me do with this machine, please leave that in a comment below as well, and I will endeavour to make a video about that. But yeah, okay. think that's it. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.